guys, Showtimus Prime here doing another 18-inch figure review on the NECA Batman Arkham Origins 1/4 scale action figure. This review is brought to you by ToyNewsI.com. Check them out for the latest in action figure news. If you're trying to pick up this figure right here, you can find it at Big Bad Toy Store.
Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
So it's really cool that NECA's given us another 18-inch figure with the window box packaging over here, but unlike most other 1/4 scale figures, the box itself doesn't really match the character or look like the character's costume or anything as we've seen on like the Captain America or the Thor figures. But nonetheless, I really think this is very cool packaging. I like it. On this side right over here, we have a couple of pictures of the Batman figure with his grappling gun. Here he has it stored on the back of his utility belt. This picture over here, he's holding it in his hand. And on the very back of the packaging, we get a picture of the figure, and then there's this bio that you could read. If you want to pause it, go ahead, do it now. Then on the other side of the packaging, we have a couple of pictures of Batman and some nice poses. Looking pretty cool, man. I'm excited for this figure. Let's get to it and crack this figure open. This is a very cool Batman figure. Just looking at it, I think it is awesome. Very stunning looking figure. A lot of nice paint applications on this. But speaking of which, if you look at the bottom of the feet over there, you can see they're painted black, and you can't really tell, but the bottom of my review station has been stained a little bit with the black paint. So that's just one warning I've got to give. But the paint applications overall are just really cool looking, and I really like the sculpt a lot. This is very cool. We get this cloth cape over here, as most of the NECA figures that we've been seeing lately have, so that's not too bad. And actually, the lovely Charlita1 likes this figure a lot too. She said that this was her favorite one out of all the 1/4 scale figures, which upsets me, not because it's a bad figure, but only because it's a DC character.
How could you say that? Look at this shirt! Look at this house!
And this guy comes with a ton of accessories too, so let's take a closer look at the accessories, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure, and my thumb is stuck under his jaw. So Batman comes with 8 different accessories. We have a pair of fisted hands over here, which look pretty nice. I like how they have shiny black paint right here on the back part, and right here towards the knuckle section. I think this is pretty cool, and I think it's sculpted very well. I like how the fists came out. Same thing with these 2 hands over here. We actually have one grappling gun hand, which looks pretty nice, and then we have a batarang throwing hand right over here. And then we have the grapple gun, and this looks very cool. I like this gunmetal paint on it. Nice silver paint applications. Looks nice. I'm digging it. Then you actually have the grapple itself, which you can plug into, and it just goes right in there like that. Then these are articulated right here, so you can bend them forward a little bit, and you can move them outward some too. So that's pretty cool, and it does fit into his hand pretty well. So let's just shimmy this in here, and boom, there it goes. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty nice looking. And then we also have this clip right here, and this is used to attach to the back of Batman's utility belt and have the grapple gun attached to it. And I'll show that later on when we look at the back of the figure. And then lastly, we have the batarang, which is awesome. I really like this batarang a lot. See some nice texture on it right over there, and then it's angled out to an edge right here on the silver part. I think this is very cool, and it's quite pointy too. It's pretty sharp. You can see it like, you know, digging into my skin. Yeah, look at that. And as you saw earlier, he holds it pretty well in his batarang holding hand. You just put it in there like that. Works pretty well. I think it's supposed to go that way. I guess you could try this too if you want to. So either way works. Great looking head sculpt on this Batman figure. I like it a lot. I really like how you can see his blue eyes. That looks very cool. And I like the face sculpting over here too. It's really hard to see. Well, you could kind of see the little lumps and everything. So you get some texturing. It looks like he has a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow. So some decent shading in here too. I like the color choice for the mouth, and we have the nose right here, so the nostrils are all painted in there and everything. I think that's really cool. The eyes look especially impressive to me. I think that looks great. And I also really like how we have this textured look going on for his cowl and everything. I think that's very nice. Now, one thing to be careful of is that the horns are very sharp and pointy. They are not pliable. You can stab somebody with these. I mean, look how much it goes into my finger. Look at that. So yeah, so this is not just an action figure, it is a home defense weapon. And here's looking at the side of the head sculpt, and then looking at the back of it too. That's cool, and I like these little textured areas right over here in the sculpt. That looks pretty nice. I like this. I really like the armor on this Batman figure a lot. I think NECA's made some very wise choices over here. First off, the chest plate of the figure is actually detached from the main section, so you can see it's separated over there, which I think is very cool because it allows for more articulation, and it's very strong, but it's a little pliable. You can see I'm kind of pushing it in just a little bit, so it does have some give. Then these shoulder pads look great too. I really like the texture right here on these straps, which are actually movable, so you can move this in and out out, and it allows for a lot more shoulder articulation, so it's not hindered at all because it has this piece over here. I think that's very nice. And again, nice silver paint applications, nice texturing right here. It looks like we have some Kevlar right in there in the shoulders. And I really like these little silver buttons that are all over the place on the figure. It really makes the figure pop having these painted all over the place on it. I think that's very, very cool. And then right here, looking at the gauntlet and the forearm, man, that is awesome. I really like how it looks a lot. Look at all these different lines sculpted in here. Turning this all the way around, you can see some of the paint detail. And it's very subtle, but all this gray section and everything, that has some black mixed into it too. So it's not just a solid gray. And then these spikes right here on the forearm are actually a very pliable material. So don't be afraid to stab yourself with this. It's not going to happen. You can really move these around and it's not going to hurt. And I really like how we have this textured section right here in the arms, and then we have this fabric, making it look like there's a joint right there, but there is no joint. I just really like that a lot. The joint is actually right here underneath the elbow. I think that was a pretty cool thing that they did over there. Then you can see the rib cage section, and everything's painted nicely, sculpted very well. Then the ab plate is actually connected to the chest plate, so this is all just one piece right here, and it allows for more articulation. I like how the utility belt looks. Nice bright silver paint apps with some black, very subtle black paint in here. I think that looks really good. And it doesn't look like these pouches or this canister are removable or anything, but that's okay. This little piece right here is made out of a pliable material. Then his briefs over here have this nice wrinkled texture going on, which looks nice. And as we move past the Batwing, you can see that on the upper thighs over here, it looks like it's made out of Kevlar or fabric. I think that's really cool. And the joints right here at the hips are hidden very well too. Again, with those little silver bolts or whatever that are holding everything together, I think that's really nice. I will say though, I think the bottom of the feet look a little on the small side though. I think they could have made this a little bit bigger, but I really do like the treads right here. That is cool. And as we look at the back of the figure, you can see the cape looks pretty ratty at the bottom over here. It's not made out of a cheap fabric or anything. You can see right through it, but just the way it was packaged, it kind of looks a little weak, you know? I don't know. It looks a little ratty to me. So we're going to move this aside so we can look at the rest of the back of the figure. Look at that. I really like the detail on the calf section over here. That's pretty nice. And as we move up over here, we got this huge bat butt, and then there's a utility belt. So I wanted to talk about how you can attach the grappling hook to this thing. Now, basically, you want to remove the actual grapple. That's the way it shows on the back of the packaging anyway. And then we have this little clip right over here. So the way I understand it is that this part attaches to the belt, and then this goes inside the grapple. So there's these two little air spaces right here, and then we can just plug this in. Let's see if we can fit this in the space. Yeah, there it goes. All right, and then we can just attach this to the back of his utility belt, and that works pretty well. Not too bad. I could shake the figure around and it's not going to fall out. Is it going to fall out? Swear to me. Lastly, I wanted to look at the plating on the back over here. Again, looking very nice. I just want to get a better look at this cape over here, show how far you could spread this out over here. It's not too bad. I'm just not as impressed with this cape as I am with the 1/4 scale Thor and the 1966 Batman figures from NECA. Now again, I think NECA's done a great job on the articulation for this figure. I like the amount of head movement they've given the figure. He can look up a little bit, and he can move down a little bit as well. He can also rotate his head side to side, and the neck can pivot side to side too. His shoulders can move outward. You can rotate them forward. He has a bicep swivel. He has a single jointed elbow. He can also rotate at the elbow. The wrists bend in and out and rotate side to side. He has a diaphragm joint that rotates over here. It doesn't really pivot too much, and it barely crunches forward and back. You really have to get this ab section to dig underneath the belt over here. So that's not a bad ab crunch actually. It's just a little tricky with this whole belt thing, and you can get it to move back, and you can see this flap is kind of moving out of the way. So that's not too bad. Actually, you can see the abs underneath the figure. I didn't notice that earlier. That's not too shabby. He also has a waist joint over here too, so he can move at the waist. He pivots side to side at the waist, and the waist moves forward and back, so you get some crunching action over here too. I really like these hip joints. The brief section of the figure is made out of a soft pliable material, so it doesn't hinder any articulation. You can move the legs all the way outward, and you can rotate them forward. That's very nice. And you can get some rotation at the upper thigh as well. And he has double jointed knees that bend in that far, and then the ankles can move downward a little bit. They move upward, and you can rotate the feet side to side as well. but you can't really give him much of an ankle pivot. Yeah, barely any ankle pivot over there, which, you know, I typically get upset over that, but the fact that this figure stands a little better than the earlier 1/4 scale comic style characters, I'm not really complaining. So measuring to the top of the bat ears, this Batman figure stands actually pretty close to 20 inches tall. And here's our Arkham Origins Batman compared to our 1966 Adam West Batman. And going just by the eye levels, you can see Adam West goes a little bit higher, even though the Arkham Origins one does have ears that go up higher. And it's kind of a trip seeing these two side by side. It's like one of the oldest Batman designs and one of the newest Batman designs. And to compare this Batman figure to some of the 1/4 scale NECA Avengers characters, here he is next to Captain America, my organically battle damaged Mark 7 Iron Man, the Dark World Thor, the Toy Biz Spider-Man 2 superposable 18-inch figure, and the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. So overall, I gotta say, this is a very cool figure. Out of all the 1/4 scale comic-based characters that I have from NECA, this is the coolest looking one as far as the sculpting goes. I know I did a little bit about hating on Batman, but he's actually my second favorite character of all the comic heroes, so I don't really hate Batman or DC. At the end of the day, I am a Marvel guy though, so I'm not taking that back. But the figure is cool. A lot of sculpted work, very nice details put into it. It does tip over still though, which is a consistent problem with these 1/4 scale figures. I would love to see stands getting released from NECA. We desperately need them like a fat kid needs cupcakes. I hope you guys liked my video. Please check out the photo gallery at toynewseye.com. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you later. Peace.
Go.
How could you say that? That's too funny. Stop that face.
All right.
You can't do that.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go.